A young woman disappeared from a Los Angeles hotel. Security footage showed her acting strangely in an elevator, pressing buttons frantically, hiding in corners, gesturing at something no one else could see. Weeks later, guests started complaining about the water. It tasted strange. The pressure was low. Something was very wrong. When maintenance workers checked the hotel's rooftop water tanks, they found her body floating inside. This is the case of Elisa Lam, and it's one of the most disturbing mysteries in recent memory. January 2013. 21-year-old Elisa Lam was a Canadian student traveling alone through California. She was staying at the Cecil Hotel in downtown Los Angeles, a place with a dark history. The Cecil had been home to multiple suicides, murders, and had even housed serial killers Richard Ramirez and Jack Unterweger at different times. The hotel had a reputation, but it was cheap, and Elisa was traveling on a budget. Elisa was an active blogger and maintained regular contact with her parents. She would call them every day to check in and share details about her trip. But on January 31st, the call stopped. Her parents couldn't reach her. When she failed to check out of the hotel on February 1st, her family reported her missing. Police began investigating immediately. They searched her hotel room and found her belongings still there, including her laptop and other personal items. There was no sign of a struggle, no indication of where she might have gone. Officers searched the hotel from top to bottom, including the rooftop, but found nothing. Elisa Lam had seemingly vanished. Then police reviewed the hotel's security footage, and what they found became one of the most analyzed and debated videos in internet history. The elevator surveillance camera captured Elisa's final known movements, and her behavior was deeply unsettling. In the video, Elisa enters the elevator and presses multiple buttons. She waits, but the elevator doors don't close. She steps in and out of the elevator repeatedly, at one point pressing herself into the corner as if hiding from someone. Then she steps out into the hallway and appears to be talking to someone, though no one else is visible on camera. Her hand gestures are animated, almost frantic. She moves her hands in strange patterns, as if explaining something, or perhaps arguing with an invisible presence. Then she steps back into the elevator, presses more buttons, and stands to the side where she can't be seen from the hallway. The elevator doors finally close and Elisa disappears from view. The video went viral almost immediately. Millions of people watched it, trying to understand what they were seeing. Was Elisa running from someone? Was she experiencing a mental health crisis? Was she under the influence of drugs? The theories multiplied by the day, ranging from the logical to the supernatural. For 19 days, Elisa remained missing. The Los Angeles Police Department conducted extensive searches. Her family offered rewards. True crime communities online analyzed every frame of that elevator footage. But there were no leads, no sightings, no answers. Then on February 19th, hotel guests began complaining about the water. It had an odd taste. The water pressure was low. Some guests reported the water was dark or had a strange smell. Maintenance workers went up to the roof to check the 4 large water tanks that supplied the hotel. What they found was horrific. Elisa Lam's body was floating in one of the water tanks. She was found naked, with her clothes and belongings floating beside her in the water. Hotel guests had been drinking, bathing in, and brushing their teeth with water from a tank containing a decomposing body for over 2 weeks. The discovery raised immediate questions. How did Elisa get into the water tank? The tanks were on a locked rooftop that required keycard access. The tank itself had a heavy lid that would be difficult for one person to open alone. The opening was relatively small. How did she get up there, open the lid, and get inside? The autopsy results deepened the mystery. The medical examiner found no signs of physical trauma, no evidence of assault, and no indication of a struggle. Toxicology tests showed she had her prescription bipolar medication in her system, but at lower levels than prescribed. The official cause of death was ruled accidental drowning, with her bipolar disorder listed as a significant contributing factor. But this ruling didn't satisfy everyone. The circumstances were too strange. Too many questions remained unanswered. How did Elisa access the locked roof? Security footage showed no one else entering or leaving the roof around that time. If she climbed into the tank herself, how did she close the heavy lid behind her? And why would she remove all her clothing? Some people believe Elisa was experiencing a severe mental health episode, Bipolar disorder can cause psychotic symptoms, and her erratic behavior in the elevator could be explained by a manic or psychotic state. The lower levels of medication in her system suggest she may not have been taking her pills as prescribed, which could trigger an episode. Others point to suspicious circumstances that suggest foul play. The hotel's history of violence, the locked rooftop access, the difficulty of getting into the tank alone. Some theorize that someone else was involved and that evidence was covered up or overlooked. Paranormal enthusiasts have their own theories. The Cecil Hotel's dark history, Elisa's behavior in the elevator, appearing to interact with something invisible, the strange circumstances of her death. Some believe supernatural forces were at work. Internet sleuths discovered eerie coincidences that fueled conspiracy theories. There was a tuberculosis outbreak in the area near the hotel at the same time Elisa went missing. The medical test for tuberculosis is called the Lam-Elisa test. A horror movie called Dark Water, released years before, featured a plot about a girl drowning in a water tank on a hotel roof and the water turning black. The parallels seem too specific to be pure coincidence. The hotel eventually changed its name and underwent renovations, partly due to the negative publicity from Elisa's death. But the case continues to haunt people who learn about it. Netflix released a documentary series about the case in 2021, introducing Elisa's story to a new generation and reigniting debates about what really happened. What makes the Elisa Lam case so compelling is that we have video evidence of her final known moments, yet we still don't fully understand what happened. We can watch her in that elevator, but we can't know what she was thinking, what she was seeing, or what led her to the rooftop water tank. Was this a tragic consequence of mental illness? A young woman in crisis who made devastating decisions while not in her right mind? Or was there something more sinister at play? Did someone else have access to that roof? Was evidence missed or ignored? The official ruling is accidental death, but doubt lingers. The security footage, the locked rooftop, the water tank, the missing pieces of the timeline. Every answer seems to generate more questions. And that elevator video continues to circulate online, watched by millions who are trying to understand those final moments. Elisa Lam was a bright young woman with her whole life ahead of her. She loved writing, photography, and travel. She struggled with mental health issues but was managing them and pursuing her dreams. Her death was a tragedy that devastated her family and shocked the world. Whether you believe it was an accident, murder, or something unexplainable, one thing is certain. The case of Elisa Lam remains one of the most disturbing and debated mysteries of the modern era. And that elevator footage, with its unanswered questions and unsettling imagery, will continue to haunt everyone who watches it. Subscribe for more unsolved and mysterious cases